This Mayo Clinic doctor has some news for you, something he says could help you lead a longer and healthier life. A highly respected cancer specialist claims to have the secret to surviving any diagnosis.
And virtually all of his tips are things that you can start doing in your life yet tonight. In the extra, a plan from Mayo Clinic Dr. Edward Creagan on how not to become his patient. It's a concept that's not without controversy, however. Here's Care 11's Alan Costantini.
I stretch 30 seconds per muscle group before, but then religiously 60 seconds afterwards.
Every morning, in every season, by the time the sun rises, Mayo Clinic oncologist Dr. Edward Creagan is already warmed up.
But this has just become a priority for us, and we don't compromise on this.
You might call it the home stretch for the 60-year-old cancer specialist who grew up around thoroughbred tracks on the East Coast. This son of a handicapper thinks he has a recipe for improving the odds of the human race as well. He's bundled his 30-plus years of clinical experience into a book called How Not to Be My Patient. Some of his observations are predictable.
The most preventable cause of cancer deaths in America today clearly rests on the shoulders of the tobacco industry.
But other comments might surprise you.
There's little evidence that the indiscriminate scam does anything other than increasing the price of health care.
He's honest to God. What kind of gullible chump would go ahead and spend $1,000 on some silly scan if he's feeling perfectly fine?
Hello, Laverne.
A recent episode of the NBC comedy Scrubs shared Dr. Creagan's disdain for trendy full-body scans on apparently healthy people.
I want to know everything that's wrong with me.
Dr. Creagan's book is chock full of memorable, if sometimes unconventional, advice for his brand of healthier living. He drinks 12 to 14 ounces of black coffee each morning because he believes it helps his daily run, and he is religious about sunscreen.
Yeah, right now I'm wearing number 30 because obviously the sun is out.
You might say he's worried about the life of your soles, the ones on your sneakers. He and his running partner wife, Peggy, write the date of purchase right inside the insole. After 2 or 3 months, they toss them.
From our standpoint, shoes are cheaper than arthroscopic surgery. 10.
On a weightier subject, he makes time for one set of 12 repetitions on each exercise every other day.
If we don't have the time for health, we're going to have lots of time for illness and disability.
And speaking of disability,
the muscle that will help keep us out of the nursing home, obviously the heart, but the quadriceps.
Why? They're the leg muscles that lift you off the couch.
Why is he such a fitness fanatic? Because he says the way things are now, at age 70% of women and 25% of men won't be able to lift a gallon of milk.
I am a fan of a balanced lifestyle and a balanced diet.
Creagan says don't put fruit in the fridge. Out of sight, out of mind. Keep it in a bowl within easy reach. He advises water-rich foods, grapes, for instance, rather than raisins. He doesn't think much of Atkins or other food fads.
And I have read that more of us commit suicide with a fork than with any other method.
When he grocery shops, Dr. Creagan stays on the perimeter of the store, away from those aisles in the center and their big sale end caps.
That's where the cookies and the treats and the goodies are, and those sometimes are not always ideal for a heart-healthy diet.
And his own diet?
Emphasizing green leafy vegetables, colored vegetables, high-fiber foods, such as bran.
Dr. Creagan is a vegetarian, although he does eat fish. But for non-vegetarians, he recommends take a different approach to meat. He recommends that instead of using meat as the main course, why not treat it as a side dish and have something else that he considers healthy as the main course? Creagan is a doctor, but he has also been a patient, and he has a lot of advice about that.
We need to acknowledge that fatigue is a factor in your industry and our profession.
Hi, Erin. How are you doing?
So get the first doctor's appointment in the morning when everybody's freshest. Get more time with the doctor by scheduling routine appointments during low-traffic holidays. Assemble and bring a copy of your own medical files. Take control of your own health. See your own test results, including x-rays.
And a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Some of the words in Dr. Creagan's book are his promised secrets to survive any diagnosis.
The secret is there is no secret.
Creagan contends that, in his experience, long-term cancer survivors tend to be religious, spiritual, and have strong family or social support systems. It's called the mind-body connection.
Knowledge is power, and attitude creates reality.
Attitude creates reality. It is certainly the most controversial part of his book. You admit in the book that, there were those 26 studies in the British medical journals that couldn't prove any connection between the mind-body connection and survivability, and yet you continue to believe it.
I believe it because I see patients every day, as do my colleagues, that should have passed away years ago.
Despite a Mayo study to the contrary, you believe that intercessory prayer, prayer from a distance from strangers, actually has some impact.
The Mayo Clinic study on prayer looked at individuals in a coronary care unit. Half were prayed for, half were not prayed for, and this study did not show a positive outcome. Yet other studies have focused on patients with AIDS, and there was a remote effect of prayer. So we cannot ignore this dimension of holistic healing.
Does it make a difference, though, if someone is a believer as opposed to, let's say you have an atheist patient?
I believe that individuals who would follow an atheistic lifestyle may well develop peace and comfort from other avenues.
So you're not saying that, pray and you'll live longer, or you'll pray and you'll survive cancer.
No, I think that's a terribly naive approach. Many patients have all of these characteristics, and yet they die early.
Yeah.
Where's the problem? I think the problem is it shows the complexity of the human animal.
Speaking of animals,
life ain't fair, but you're okay, huh?
That is one of Dr. Creagan's contentions that science backs up, the value of pets as mental and physical therapy. Alan Costantini, Carol 11 News, Rochester.
Dr. Creagan says the Internet is both boon and bust for physicians because patients often pick up inaccurate advice as well as useful knowledge. He recommends surfing university websites like the U of M's and credible organizations like the Mayo and American Cancer Society websites. We have links to those sites on care11.com and Dr. Creagan